Welcome to fall. It's been a busy couple months, really about 5 months. And I'd like to say it was busy modeling, but that hasn't been the case. It's just been busy with work, and all three of us have been very busy. But we have been doing some stuff. And I'm just going to do an update on this. Now, if some of you may have noticed, I started a series on sensors. I was going in one direction and realized that I was really narrowing my scope of what I was looking at. And I got a couple comments from some folks, and I realized I needed to broaden that a little more because it'd be more helpful. And whether it's analog panels or digital panels or using a DCC bus or using something else, I needed to expand that video series. So I'm leaving up the sensor video that's up right now. But understand, I'm going to pick that up here. Matter of fact, I'm waiting for the last of my parts to come in so I can present a intelligent conversation about sensors and using them. So that's going to be following this video. I'd like to say shortly, but work has been very crazy. Matter of fact, as I said earlier, we've been really busy the last 5 months. And so it has not gone as we wanted it to be. But in any case, come on in. Let's take a look at what we have been doing, and I hope it's helpful. Here we are in Longmont and the sugar mill. We had a visitor come out this week. Actually, Chris Atkins and a friend of his came on out to visit the layout. They were here for a train show, and so they came out here to visit. Now, Chris is modeling a very similar sugar mill from the Great Western Sugar Mill. That's up in Billings, Montana. And Chris was out here just touring. He's actually modeling. So north of where my layout is, I end about Cheyenne, and Chris actually runs from about Cheyenne all the way up north to Billings, and I think he extends and to include Sheridan, Gillette, and all those places just north of where I'm modeling. But in any case, this is what we've been working on. You can see the main building and the warehouse here off to the side. You see this cardboard pipe? That's actually going to be the smokestack, and it's actually to scale, and it's way up above it. We're going to cut it down some to just kind of get it to fit in a little better and make it not look. While this stack is very tall, it's almost twice as tall as the building here is what it should be. But it just looks funny on the layout. So we're going to do some selective compressing to try and give it the look as it should be on the layout. So we'll be dealing with that. Now this portion of the yard and all this, the yard is all in place where you see that white piece of paper. That's not only the diagram of the entire sugar mill that's here, but it also is representing basically how wide my boiler plant is going to be, give or take an inch or so. And so we're kind of laying this out. Now the drawings have started for the Hoffman house and the boiler house to be built. And Sean has the first couple of drawings. I have not had time to finish that up, but I will get back to that. And that's moving forward with that. But you can see that we're starting to get this kind of solidified. And once we get this area built, coupled along with Denver, we will begin to start some of our operations. We'll be running our first local train coming out of Denver and coming here to Longmont. And that'll begin our operations, which has caused me to have to do a bunch of other things in addition. And we'll show you that throughout what's been going on, including software, prepping the cars, and those type of things. So that's what's been going on in here. Really in town, not much more has been done from the last update. It is still sitting there. Buildings are working on and getting done, but at a pace that a snail would be disappointed in. But in any case, let's take a look at what we have been doing in Denver and Palmer Lake. So here we are in Denver, and just kind of give you a layout of the layout a bit. So if you keep that where the train was coming in, it's actually coming in from Longmont, and it's right now it's probably about 12 feet linear going across there, but making the curve and everything, it's easily a 16-foot run to leave Longmont and come into Denver here. And as you were looking down, or when you see Palmer Lake down the road here, you'll be able to look down and you will see the hills that are in between Longmont and Denver, and then it rolls in and hits town, and then kind of rolls into Rice Yard down to Union Station, and then back over here to this side, over on this side, which is, there's another peninsula right here, which comes through the industrial area of Denver, which is going to include a granary, a mill, and an oil company. And that's all kind of sitting right over here, and that's actually a branch line. So that kind of gives you the lay of it. If you were watching the laser video, this was the building I was cutting out. This is the Colorado Saddle Company. This building was actually just, it's a real building. If you actually Google Colorado Saddle Company and ask for images, you will see this building. The building originally was the M.J. O'Falley Supply Company, and that's with the painted signs that are on it. Some things that are still missing, there should be a white sign on here that says Colorado Saddle Company. The back doors here, there should be what am I trying to think of? A loading dock back here in front of those doors, some stairways and things like that. But that was originally the M.J. O'Fallon Company. It was built in 1909, 1908, sometime around there. It's not quite done yet. I've got some more junk and all to put on the top of the roof and make it kind of interesting. But overall, for my second laser project and using brick, I'm very pleased with it. And so I want to go over just some of the things that I did that you may have some questions. So all of the building is made out of nothing more than MDF. I get this from Blick Art. I can get a 2x3 sheet of it for about $5 delivered to my house. It's also using basswood, and that is actually the green up on top here, all the coyness, that is done in basswood. The windows and doors are done with the product that I told you before is called Polyback. At the time that I did the laser videos, I did not have a commercially available supply for Polyback. There's now a company that you can buy it online. It's from www.laser1.net. And they have several different styles of thicknesses for the Polyback, white and brown here. Brown is what I use the most. This is 1/32 thick. They also have even thinner. But that's what I kind of do for all the windows and doors on that. It is reasonably priced. I won't say it's cheap, but it's fair. And this stuff is fantastic to work with. I'll be putting in the bridge and the overpass that comes over this area here, and I will be using a lot of Polyback for doing a lot of the metal griddle, the lattice work that goes into that overpass. It's really very nice for that type of purpose. All said and done, this building cost me probably in supplies about $30 to build. Probably about a sheet and a half of the 16th inch, one sheet of, oh, by the way, I can also get the MDF in 1/32 from the same www.laser1.net. They had the, that's how I found them. I was looking for 16th inch MDF, and I found out they also had the polyback, so I wanted to share that with you. The windows are all in on this side here. There's actual glass in there. I simply go to, you can buy it from eBay or from Amazon, cover glass slip, which is used for microscopes. And I just buy that and I just glue it onto the back of them. I like it because it gives the look of real windows. And I'll take some photos and show them down below. And this building is probably, that's about 13, maybe 14 inches wide. It's if you count the top up there, it's easily over 14 inches tall and about 6.5 inches deep. It might even be 7. I don't remember what I started off with. But that all said and done, for my second building done and drawn up on the laser, I'm very pleased with it. The lettering that you see there, I actually did on the laser as well. I basically took painter's tape and picked a font and cut it out and then put it on the side of the building and then sealed it with a clear flat varnish and then a spray type, and then turned around and airbrushed it afterwards. Actually, I think I did rattle can, and turned out fantastic. I really like the lettering. I think probably that has been the most comments I've gotten is the lettering. Literally, for me to calculate and do all the lettering and everything and put it on there, cutting the lettering out took me maybe 10 minutes. And then applying it and spraying it, maybe another 30 minutes to get the whole building all done up with the lettering and all that. So that's kind of interesting. The other thing I also get a lot of questions is it says the quinoa system. I get a lot of people ask me, what's the quinoa system? And so I did some research. It's basically for agriculture, it's a watering system. It's how they collected water to be used in irrigations, and that's what it was where it came from. Now the building was built in 1909, so I don't know when the quinoa system, but most of the stuff I saw dated was 1925. So somewhere around there, that's when that stuff was all going on. But it really is a fun and interesting building. It's taken me a little longer than I wanted to, but this has been really a large portion of what I've been doing when I am home working on the layout. So from here, let's head over to Palmer Lake. So welcome to Palmer Lake. Now, Palmer Lake is the continental divide north to south on the line. And it's actually a continental divide of the United States. But what we're doing is we're not actually trying to duplicate Palmer Lake exactly as it was. There's a lake here, thus the name Palmer Lake. And it does come through here, and there's some hills and some cuts. And we're just basically just giving us some distance coming out of Denver and on our way down to Colorado Springs. We're not trying to duplicate it one for one. We're just trying to give some space. Now, opposite of Palmer Lake right here is Longmont. So one of the things I wanted to do in designing this layout, I wanted to make sure that the operators that were here working on Longmont would not be interfered by having another town or anything sitting here. So Palmer Lake is just nothing more than just a drive-through area for the layout and the trains to come through. It allows them to get a sense of distance of traveling somewhere, but not interfering with my operations on the other side. It's a simple task, And it just allows a little length and gives interest to the layout. As you can see, we started forming some of just the outline. Eventually what will go on top of this will be plaster cloth. And that plaster cloth we will then begin to manipulate and push and form into the shapes to the way we want to. Now in here is styrofoam. And that styrofoam is nothing more than just a rib. It's just to give it something to hold all this paper up so that when we begin to put this plaster cloth up on this, it will actually have something to adhere to the backdrop. Now, if you're wondering how I do plaster cloth, back here at the very back of the layout there, you can see the hill that's coming out of Longmont and heading into Denver. I actually did a video on Sean and me doing this. We actually cut the plaster cloth dry. Then we lay it down and we squirt it with a squirt bottle and get it wet from right there on that place. We'll do the same thing here. We will hold it up here and we'll spray it and we start from the bottom and work our way up. And that'll create a nice rib to go into that. And then from this, with it all pushed in and all set the way we want to, when we get our clearance into here, I'll actually use Bragdon, I'm trying to think of the geofoam to actually do the castings. If you saw my Colorado and Coyote Creek, you saw that I did a lot of rock work and a lot of castings. And that's the same thing I'm going to be doing right through this area through here. Nothing different, just it's the beginning of what you see. And this is just a start. All we did is just simply take simple newspaper, crumple it up, and tape it up to there. Now back here, we actually wanted to form a mountain and a hill. And so I had a bunch of styrofoam still left over. And so we just took my styrofoam cutter, and again, I did a video on that if you want to see that. That styrofoam cutter, and we just simply carved that with the styrofoam cutter to make the shapes we want to. We drew it out and then proceeded just to layer on top of that. And that's just basically going to be done exactly the same way, the heel in the back. So, matter of fact, I think that video includes cutting the foam out and doing doing our plaster cloth in that one video. So in any case, that's what we're doing here in Palmer Lake. Eventually the lake will come in here. We'll cut the fascia to match the lake and so it'll look natural and look really nicely done. But right now, that's what we've got started here in Palmer Lake. Well, that's this month's update. And I hope it was really helpful and enjoyable. I saw a couple posts in Facebook and different blogs as some things that come up here and now, and I thought I'd share a couple tips on some things that I've on tips and questions that people oftentimes pop up. One is cleaning rail tracks and cleaning tracks. I've used this track and rail cleaner. We've been getting on the camera there for a lot of years, and this stuff is actually pretty nice. It's designed exactly for slot cars and model railroad, and it works really well. I was talking to Sean about it the other day, and Sean introduced me to a new product that I think this is going to replace the other one. This is CRC 2620. Now, this is a lubricant that is plastic safe and is designed to improve electric conductivity. And basically what I've been doing with it is I've got to take a t-shirt, an old t-shirt. These are some of my old Army t-shirts. And I simply just wrap this in here and then spray this onto it and literally just wipe up and down the tracks. It is amazing how much carbon it picks up. It's fantastic, and it really does make a difference in the electrical conductivity. So I'm very pleased with it. It seems to take a little longer to wear out than something like this. So I don't know, they may be the same product, I don't know, but I found it to be really kind of nice. So there's my two tips. The CRC 20-26 you can get from Amazon. I simply just ordered it and had it delivered to my house. Fantastic. The track and rail cleaner, the ACT 6006, excuse me, You can Google that. There's plenty of places that sell that. That's not hard to find at all. The other one I found that people come up with every once in a while is there's always the question of, spiders. Here in the Northwest, especially on the west side, we get a lot of garden spiders. And they, when I had my old Colorado and Coyote Creek in this room, they were a nuisance. They got into my forest areas. It was really tough. And a couple of, probably about 3, maybe 4 years ago, I was talking to John's wife, Vanessa, and was kind of explaining, man, I am just so fed up with the spiders. And she says, well, Mike, just do what I do for our motor home. And I said, what? And she said, yeah, just get some peppermint oil. So I'm going to share this tip because it really works. It's been 3 years. I have no spiders in this building. Now, I do at the threshold when they first come in, but they don't go very far beyond that, and they kind of run around. This is nothing more than peppermint oil. And try and get it in focus, please. There you go. I got this from Amazon as well. Simply just ordered it. And I use the same cotton balls. They're scattered out around in strategic places. Nobody pretty much notices them. They're sitting in electrical cabinets. They're sitting inside maybe a building that's open in the back, and just enough peppermint oil to make a difference. It comes in this bottle. I simply just put a little oil on the cotton ball, and voila, I stashed it away in the corner. I got a little more than I needed there. It's fantastic. And I'll tell you what, the spiders do not come in this building. Now, if you don't like the smell of peppermint, well, that's what this building smells like the weeks that I put it in there. Usually within, I'd say 2 weeks, the peppermint smell kind of fades away and you don't notice it anymore. But when I do this, I do it about once a month or once every 2 months, and I just kind of walk around, just grab my peppermint thing and put a little drop on all my cotton swabs that I have located throughout the building, and the spiders are gone. So just my 2 tips for you. I hope that's helpful. And until next time, happy modeling.